2, 1. You want to bring us in, buddy?
Sure. Welcome back. The last time we were doing our show, we've had some cool guests. We were talking about the holidays and stuff because, the holidays right around the corner. We're recording this a couple days before Christmas, but we were talking about the Christmas Story, and we had a couple of episodes with your good friend. What's his
Ian Petrella.
Ian. I just think of him as being,
and it's a Christmas story, not the Christmas Story.
Fine,
the indirect object.
Oh my God! Swear to God! I mean, you make this.
It's important. I mean, come on,
No,
it makes a difference.
Right.
It's a total. Yeah, it's not the same title.
No, but Ian was great.
Completely. I'm going to roll this out really fast. So let's keep this in present tense, like what it is. Today's December 22nd. I think we're gonna roll this out maybe a day or two right after Christmas.
Okay.
So we're going to put this in front of like Parker and some of the others that we have. And
maybe we should start again. And I'll just say are you ready for Christmas? It's like tomorrow,
We don't need to start again. I think the audience is following along with us. Or if you want, I don't give a fuck.
Let's just do it again one more time.
Yeah. And we're acting like I'm actually going to edit it to do it over, but it's just going to be continuous. No. Exactly.
Okay, here we go.
Tom and D.
Two middle-aged idiots. And we're back. Holiday cheer is in the air. And Darren, you sound like, your nose is kind of red. Are you a little under the weather? What's going on over there?
Yeah, it's not trying to hone my best Rudolph impression.
No.
It's I'm down with the flu today, so I just crawled out of bed long enough to do this. So that's why my voice is a little raspy.
That's okay. I understand. Well, I hope you feel better. I mean, you don't have too much time to rest up, with the holidays right there. I know you've got some big plans. I've got some big plans tonight. I'm going to the IU game. I was asked by my new neighbor, my new best friend here in Bloomington, 6'9", Ron Paulus, who played, college basketball and knows everyone at IU and lives in town, lives in my neighborhood. We are sitting right behind the visitors bench. So that's going to be
I am so jealous. Who is it tonight? It's like
Siena State. Siena
State.
Yeah, Siena. Just Siena.
So, yeah, right. And then we have the Rose Bowl coming up
God.
January 1st. Like,
unbelievable.
Yeah, that's crazy. Playing against Alabama. That's going to be incredible. We should do, presuming we're going to win, and we will, we should do something the very next day, kind of like a start to the new year and, talk about like who's going on to the,
so if we can make it to the Rose Bowl, I'm saying, I'm like thinking, who can I reach out to in LA that I know? So, if make it to if I want to make it there in person, like where could I sleep? And I'm like thinking my LA peeps, and I'm like, my agent is awesome. I don't know if she would want me to, stay at her house for the IU game, but we got to bring her on anyway. She is amazing. She not only represents me for voice, she also represents Caprita. She's been doing this a long time, has a lot of insight on the industry, and is just a lovely soul. So I think we should just bring her on right now. What do you say? Marci Polzin, are you there?
Hi, how are you?
Hey, Marci.
Good to talk to you.
So how do you two know each other? What's the connection?
Through David Caprita. I've repped him for God so long I can't even remember. A lot of my clients have just repped for forever, and then they email me going, "Happy anniversary! It's been X number of years," and I just go, "Where has the time gone?" So even Tom, where the hell has the time gone?
Right.
So
I don't know. I think with us, it's probably been like 5-something years. And with David, it's been like 15 or whatever. Yeah. But no, David was always telling me about his agent. So he wanted to make sure that I, had a good demo, that I was before. Because I would say, "Did you talk to her?" He's like, "No." And David's like, "No, I didn't talk to her." And I'm like, "Come on, dude. All you have to do is shoot her an email. I'll do the legwork. It's like, I'll do the rest." But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. How long have you been an agent for? And tell us your story. How you voice agent is very specific. How did you kind of get into this?
In all honesty, I'm a little over 30 years in this business. Started off as a receptionist, tiny little agency, although bigger than mine. And within 6 months, I became an on-camera commercial agent. Loved it. Figured that was my direction. I absolutely loved it. And as every agent does, we move around. We move around from agency to agency. So one agency I was at, I did on camera, but then they said, we have an opening in the voiceover department, and on camera is kind of really, really slow. So I moved over to voiceover, loved it. Ended up few years later being able to merge the two for on camera and voiceover. And again, I didn't want to give either one of them up anymore because I loved both of them, and it worked. And started to work with artistic talent probably 12 years ago. And the owner at the time, she said, I don't care what you do as long as you bring in the money. And that's what ended up happening. So when she decided to retire, she said, you need to buy the agency. And I did. My husband and I were all in. And this is where I am, loving every second of it. I don't know that I'm ever going to retire because
Good.
I'm just too happy. I work my ass off.
You do.
We work long hours, but it's too fun. I love knowing my clients. I love talking with them.
On one of the episodes we had a casting director on, Craig Campabasso, a good friend of mine. And do you know Craig?
I do, not personally, but
okay, yeah, good guy. But so you're more on the agent side. Can you talk about the difference so that our audience can understand what the difference is between an agent, especially voice and talent agent, versus voice and talent director?
Very different. I work directly with the actors, and in the VO world, let me start with the casting directors. The way it works, and we'll take it from the commercial world, it's not that different from the narration world, the promo world, whatever. But I'll give the explanation with the commercial world because that's just the easiest. Take McDonald's. McDonald's said they have a ton of different ad agencies around the country, depending on what they're doing. And they say, I want to bring back the whatever. So they go to the appropriate ad agency. The ad agency develops a campaign. The ad agency then hires a director, production company. They get all of the everything together. They hire a casting director. Casting director works with them on what kind of actors they need, characters they need, voice they need. They call that down into a breakdown, send it out to all the agents, say, send me your best, whoever fits this kind of spec. And so based on that, I then become a casting director with my talent list. And I say, who do I hear in this role? Now, I'm not specific. I don't do we've got to keep it between 30 and 35, and they want this more light tone. I always want to throw in people that I just hear doing it that aren't necessarily in their specs, because I think that those people are going to be the ones that the casting director and then ultimately the director go, wait, play that back. Because when you get that 1 second of, hey, play that back, that helps them think outside the box.
Yes.
So that, even though I work as sort of a casting director, I'm casting a very specific area of talent. And I don't know what any of the other agencies are doing. I just know that I hear differently than other people would.
And are you soon to be repping Tilly Norwood? Do you know who that is?
No, I don't.
That's the AI actress.
Oh, good God. Yeah, I just saw that. I just saw that last night looking at something, and good God, that's right. I was just having lunch with another client on Friday, and we were having the conversation about how AI is just... It's deplorable, and it really is kind of a downfall of so much of what we've built. And as much as people get contracts and in video games, it comes up right away. This is not AI. There are no plans to delve into AI, anything
Yeah.
like that. It's still hard for us.
Yeah. It's such a cheapening of brands and reputation. I think it's absolutely horrible. I mean, maybe there's a place for it somewhere. I'm not a Luddite and against, using new technology. I think it's great. I use AI and various things, but to replace people in these situations, like sometimes it just doesn't make sense.
The thing is it might think very quickly, but I don't think that AI can translate the emotion.
Exactly.
Now,
Exactly.
there's
We've
not,
talked
that's not,
about that, Darren and
yeah,
me. Yeah.
it's
Darren and
just,
I.
it's never going to, maybe it can think quickly and change course, but it doesn't have that inherent emotion, the ability to use acting choices. And I don't think of myself as a voice over agent. I think of myself as a voice acting agent. Tom's heard me say this so many times. You have to think of this as acting 101. You have to make very basic acting choices so that you are relatable. And one of my favorite casting directors teaches this, and this is what I teach and ask of my clients, is relatability. And you can be relatable by making those acting choices. Who are you talking with? It's got to be one person that you can't talk to a group of people because then it's not relatable. But that one person who specifically, it can't be some nameless, faceless person. It's got to be someone you know. And then where are you? What are you talking about? Because you're not talking about Tide laundry detergent. You're talking about something that you would have. And you talk to your mom different than your dad, different than your spouse, different than your kids, different from your favorite barista.
So what's the impact that you see happening right now? And I know this has been, ongoing questions for everyone, especially, like even Sean Astin, who, the new president of SAG and AFTRA, talking about the tsunami of AI that's coming our way. But, how do you deal with it? And are you getting requests for that from clients?
Not from clients. No. In all honesty, there is an agency, I won't say advertising agency, but a company that has developed an AI type of thing where actors put up their demos on their site, and then the buyers go through all the demos and they say, we want that person. That person doesn't need to audition. That person doesn't need to do a demo. That person doesn't even need to be in front of the microphone. They take that demo and they pick and choose the words to make the sentences. And again, going back to, I don't hear the emotion in it because there's, how do they do that? So
they don't have a heart. They don't have a soul. They don't have anything to recollect. They don't have anything beyond.
How can you emote if you don't have emotion?
Yeah. It's just a voice.
Just a
and
voice.
There's so much more than just a voice. And Tom, you're exactly right in this one. I have not discussed this with clients except off the cuff, but I can't bring myself to say anything to my clients about this company, because even if they have a contract with the unions, I can't do it.
Right.
And I don't know which other talent agencies or management companies are doing it. I don't know. I really don't care, because to me, that's not right.
Well, it's almost like you're I don't want to say selling your soul, but I mean, once you do allow this to happen, then what's the use to have you as a voiceover? Don't want to say that, a voice actor. Why even have you available for anyone else? Because if they have you, and they can start using you for all kinds of different things. Obviously, there's a lot of right stuff involved, but I'm sure you've heard that story. I mean, it was written up, I believe, in the New York Times about this. I think it was a couple actually, how they had recorded something and all of a sudden all this stuff was out there and they were making absolutely nothing on it. And it's like their lives were turned upside down. It's like they're not making any money and their voice is being used. People say, oh, I just heard you on this commercial. I heard you doing this book on tape or whatever. I never did that. Oh, it was your voice, dude. Trust me, it was your voice. So anytime I see anything like that, especially more for like voices.com and stuff, if I see something that comes across that even the word AI is in there, I'm like, no,
Exactly.
these people are not going to have my voice, because it's just a matter of time before I've sold out and I've lost control.
And to that point, you talked about labeling. There's a lot of things that aren't labeled, or it's ripped off from something else and reposted, and they don't label it as AI, and that's really deceptive. There's definitely some ethical issues with that. Trying to, even if it's something innocuous, somebody falling down or feeding an animal, or an animal saving a baby from a TV falling over,
or a big fat guy making a delivery falling through the front porch.
Exactly. It's still, I feel like it's so unethical. And then when you do label it as AI, it's kind of like, why? Why do we want to see that? And everything just becomes, I feel like, so homogenous. We're just feeding the same sort of delivery of lines, the same sort of visuals, the same sort of, and it just becomes so boring.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. And actually, even to continue on what you just said, Tom, years ago, many years ago, a client that I represented at another agency, he had done a video game. And I mean, this was years ago. And a few years later, he heard his voice on another, I don't know if it was another video game or something else, that they ripped it from the video game.
Unbelievable.
So it is very sad. And I think that was a big thing about the interactive strike, was about AI.
Yes.
And that's why when we're reading the contracts or the breakdowns or whatnot, we always make sure that there won't be any AI usage. And yes, granted, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, Instagram, they've all got it. And people are making, I mean, you just look at these videos, and people are making these videos, and you can tell they're AI. There's some that are funny as hell, and they're about animals. And that's funny as hell. But when you get an actor in there that didn't approve it, it's just disgusting.
It is.
But I mean, at least in the projects that I work on, we make sure that there's no AI in there, because at least if they hear it, if an actor hears it or I hear it later on, then there's legal ramifications.
Right.
So are you going to lean into that at all? Like how Vince Gilligan and like James Cameron has done on their credits, where they say like, this production was made by humans, or no AI was used. It seems like an opportunity to kind of lean into it and say, we only use real people.
Yeah, I do like that. I absolutely do like that. I didn't know that they were doing that. And I wonder if, and this is just a thought, if you look at the Avatar movie that is coming out.
Yeah.
And it's huge.
And it was not AI. It was special effects. No AI.
Okay. So as long as special effects are the old way of, not the old way, but the way special effects are done and not artificial intelligence, they use graphics.
They had actors in the leotards with the motion capture on them, the headsets, hundreds of thousands of hours with, really incredibly talented people working the same way that they do on set, and even more so because, they've changed them around. And I heard James Cameron talking about that with like the first Avatar. They didn't really go into a lot of like how it was made, because they wanted people to just like live with, imagine the, the beings that were created. But now, because of this confusion with AI, he has been making a point to note that this is not AI. This is special effects. These are real actors. This is motion capture. We're doing things very detailed. It's kind of old school way with, of course, using real people, but, in a very high tech special effects environment. And those are very different things. Special effects and AI, very, very
completely.
different. Those are hours and hours of special effects and animators, creating those things and artistry as opposed to giving prompts to create something.
And I think it's very important that someone of James Cameron's stature does that, because it allows other directors and studios to lean into that as well. And that's what we need, because the more the film, streaming, television do that, the hope is the video game world, the commercial world, the animation world will do that as well. There are areas where AI is wonderful. Teaching. I've seen some AI tools being used in the education world. Fantastic, because this generation learns very differently than we learned. And so that's wonderful. Medicine, if it can be used to improve surgery and whatnot, fantastic. But when you are trying to replace human beings, it's not only not right, but it just isn't the same. And I can't imagine a movie being created completely with AI is going to get any standing in the award season. It's all about the actors acting, even in Pixar things,
right,
or DreamWorks things. You still have the actors.
Absolutely.
And that goes back to having the ability to change emotions and have the heart and soul.
Did you hear about this commercial? It was a McDonald's commercial, and it was played overseas, and the whole commercial was done with AI, like the whole thing. And it was about this is like a legitimate 30-second spot about this guy, like Christmas completely going bad, like everything from the tree falling down to catching on fire to this to that. And it's the whole idea is, why don't you just hang out at McDonald's until the holidays are over? And, it's like your safe space.
It was
and
gross.
I'm telling
Slop
you,
fest.
70-80% response was negative, to the point where they had to pull it off the air. People were pissed. They said, not only is
horrible.
this but they said, no, it was obvious it was AI. There was no emotion to it. At the same time, it was just like the whole idea of making the idea of making Christmas like it's so bad that, you don't, I don't know. But the point is, I'm like, good for those people to have complained and said, this is bullshit. I'm not going to watch some AI crap commercial. This is horrible.
And that's what's good about the internet, where people can post those negative views and put it up on YouTube and all of the sites and post those negative views, because those companies, McDonald's, looks at that, because that's very bad publicity for them. So good for people I'm glad that people can do that. I'm really glad that people, we look at the reviews of even products that we're going to buy, and those reviews are important, especially to big companies like that. So maybe they'll rethink it. And I mean, that was Chevy Chase in Christmas Vacation.
Right.
Why don't you get an actor to be a Chevy Chase character in all of that? It will be much funnier.
And another thing too, and this is what I tell people when they ask me about AI, and my mom and I actually were on the phone today, because as you know, I have a class that starts in January in Indiana University that I'm going to be teaching, that I developed a voice class and a voiceover. Well, I call it the art of the voiceover. They've changed it to voiceover techniques, because, it's got
insert applause here.
Yeah, insert applause here. But one of the things my mom said is, there'll be certain things you got to think of, like what students might ask you that you haven't really. So you have some answers, even though they may never ask you, my mom says AI is probably going to be one of them. Someone along the way will ask you. And I said, I've been giving this answer for a while. Yes. Has it affected me in my business? Absolutely. But for something like if you were hiring a voice actor and paying him or her $400 to voice, welcome to putting together your so-and-so wagon made by craftsmen, and it was something that it was like an instructional thing where it's like, yeah, I get it. They don't really care about the emotion so much. They want to save money. And if you're watching it, you're not going to be like, yeah, this is some AI bullshit that I'm listening to here. But it's just a simple video that shows you how to put the wheels on and do this thing on this wagon. Yeah. Something like that. I'll
just replacing like motion graphics or something.
Right. Yeah. I'll be willing to maybe, okay, I can get that. But as soon as I am in a situation where they're not going to use me now for their 60-second commercials that they use for this company that I've been doing, work for forever, all of a sudden comes to me and said, you know what, I think we're going to start using AI for these. That's where I'm going to be like, whoa, wait a second here. That's a different animal, man. Because now you're talking about that one-on-one, you and the voice actor while you're driving in the car, telling you about something.
Exactly.
That's so much different than the guy telling you how to put together this, little red wagon thing.
Yeah. And I think it's a good question to the agencies that are wanting to do it is like, why? First of all, is it because you're trying to look tech forward? Because I think that it really cheapens the brand in a lot of ways. There's better ways of doing it.
Yeah. It's you're selling to people. And part of the reason that not so many years ago, the change into we want an African American character, a Native American, or an actor, a Native American actor, an Asian American actor, whatnot, is because they want to have everybody say, wow, that person looks like me. That person sounds like me. That makes it that more easy for
it's more relatable.
People. Exactly.
You want to pull on someone's heartstrings when you're trying to sell them a product, regardless of what the product is. You want to cause some emotional attachment saying, I need that because that makes me feel this way.
Exactly.
But putting together the thing that you bought, they had a great voice actor who sold the wagon and told me I needed it. Now you're putting it together. It's not quite as important because you've already spent the money.
In all honesty, you use a person, it probably won't cost as much because of the hours and hours that you're spending with the AI. I called the pharmacy the other day just to check on a prescription, if a prescription was available, and they've now gone to AI. And good God, the menus I had to listen to because when I said operator or customer or whatever, it wouldn't listen to me. And it got to the point where I'm not going to call anymore. I'm just going to go there and say, do you have my prescription? Because it's just, it doesn't have the ability to really listen to you, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's
all right. So we've been kvetching a lot about AI.
Yeah,
what else we got?
Well,
this is like Festivus, here. We're airing our grievances.
Yes. And you know what? We could go on and on about this.
Yes, we could.
What else can I tell you about the VO world?
Well, I only see one portion of what you do, and that is an email that comes, which you have obviously, casting director had sent out something and you post it for us via email and you tell us this is what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. When you're reviewing this stuff, and because that's the part that I'm not there, I would love to be a fly on the wall when you're going through your 30 submissions and you only have to submit 5. What you're listening for? Are you just looking for variation? Are you looking for, does this person sound more real than this person? And if this person never sounds real when they're recording their auditions for you, why are you sending them auditions to begin with? I'm just love to know what that process is like from the inside.
That's a great question.
Thank you.
I am listening. First of all, I'm listening to make sure the directions were followed. I think I sent something back to you last week, Tom, where maybe the slate wasn't exactly right, or
I had mispronounced the name of the company, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's those kinds of things. So I'm listening to those things because they love to hear their name.
That was the name of the company. It was called Faux Pas Industries.
It might have been.
And I, you know, I took it phonetically. I fucked it up.
Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes I forget, and this is something that I always have to remember. Sometimes I forget to find the proper link to send it. And some of the mispronunciations I get, not just on the product name, but wording or whatnot, I just go, and oftentimes I think, why do I have to go and find that pronunciation to give the link? But then I listen back and I go, that's why I have to do it. And I hate when I forget to do that. So I'm always listening for people who did it correctly. Slate, if they want a slate it absolutely correctly. There was one where the casting director wanted it slated name, character name, script title, something like that. And when people don't do that and I have to send it back, if you're not going to get it back to me immediately, sorry, you've lost the opportunity. And a lot of times, Tom, you know, I put in the body of my email information
in caps, like follow slating exactly.
Exactly. You'd be surprised how many people don't read that. And I have to tell them, I keep my emails short and sweet, but read them. I'm not giving you a long diatribe here. There's one with animation where I specifically said, this is cartoony. Go cartoony. Don't be embarrassed that you're going too far.
Yeah.
The answer is no, you aren't going too far. Because always remember, they can pull you back. They can't push you forward.
I mean, they can, but I'm saying in their mind when they're listening to it, it's like, oh my God, this is great. We'll just have them tone down this a little bit. But if you go in there and they want like, oh my God, look what's going on here, guys. And you give them like, oh my God, look what's going on here, guys. You know, it's kind of like, well, can this guy even do that? No. Next person.
Exactly. But so that's
the first thing, going through and making sure that everything is done correctly to the specs of the casting director.
Exactly. But I'm also looking at people who, again, have that relatability. I can see they've clearly made specific choices, which I love, because in that area, I'm the consumer too. So I want to hear what people have got to say. And obviously there are certain things that are not directed to my consumer category, but I want to hear that it's right. And it's hard for me to narrow down sometimes. And that's when there's that something that I can't explain. And it's more the consumer in me that just hears it. And I'm sorry, I can't get to that very specific thing that makes me pick my top 3, 4, 5, whatever they're saying. Most casting directors actually don't limit me, which is nice. Thank God. I still eliminate the people who haven't done it right. And if I email them and say, hey, I need this back quickly, and they don't get it to me quickly enough, sorry, you've lost out. I get a lot of people who, even though my deadline was 10 a.m., they send it to me at 5 p.m. And I go, really? I'm not wasting my time on this.
Just because it's disrespectful. Yeah.
And you wasted your time.
Yeah, completely.
So that I just delete. It's unless they ask me specifically, hey, I can't get to you by this time. Can I get it by this time? And then I have to say yes or no. Because
Well, I can usually tell, and this is probably bad, and I know that you get annoyed by it sometimes, but like, and it's been weird with my move and with the time difference. Because I had it pretty much down at least the last several years with you, because I would know that I have to do this the night before because I may not be able to have time to do it in the morning. But when all of a sudden it's due at 10, that's 1 o'clock my time. I don't have to do it tonight. I'm going to have my second drink, or whatever.
Exactly.
But I know that for you, for instance, if you say you want it by 10 a.m. and that's what you say there, I know but then I might even get the copy from the casting director who sends it to me directly, and I see they want it at noon. You want a couple hours to do it. But I'm saying that if you need it and they need it back by 10 a.m., you will write 9 a.m. hard deadline. So I know that, you're setting them out at probably 10. So I better get it in there at 9, so.
And remember,
that's
all
really
caps means I'm screaming at you.
So Darren, you were supposed to ask Marci, you were supposed to say, so how often is Tom in these top 5 if you had to pick them? That's what you're
that's a great question. And, any favorite spots that Tom has done?
Oh my God, so many. I can't even think because I get so
they're
much
all winners.
But in all honesty, I'm going to say about, no offense to this Tom, but I'm going to say about 80% of the time he's in my top 3, top 5.
Am I really?
Sorry for the 20% that you're not.
I probably know the ones that, it's probably like you said, the ones that I didn't, because one thing I learned, and you turned me on to this, we've been trying to get Kathy Kelmanson on this show. I mean, she's been dealing with a lot. I don't know if you heard about Harvey broke his hip, and
oh no.
Yeah, and she's been dealing with a lot of different. I mean, he's older. He's in his 90s, I think, or late 80s. He's up there.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're right.
But anyway, we've been trying to get her on. But one of the things that she always said to do is to have an intro sentence. So it doesn't matter what I'm doing or how long it is. And sometimes I'll do it to every sentence through it. I'll say something before, because you always came from someplace. So I'll start out by okay, this is a thing for this hamburger, Checkers, hamburgers. And I'll be like, oh my God, Darren or Caprita, David, you love hamburgers, just say, well, what is this place? This place has the best hamburgers. And I'll always say, well, what's so great about them? Well, they have this, and this. So it's like almost everything is like an answer to a question. So when you put it all together, it's like, it isn't just saying, these are great hamburgers. They have the best hamburgers. It's like, no, it's like, these are great hamburgers because we use 100% ground beef. Who wouldn't want that, or whatever.
So you're actually coming to it with an idea versus waiting for a prompt, getting back to that human versus AI.
Right.
I call it, it's a silent intro.
Yes, that's what she calls it, the silent intro. I should write that down because it's got to be in my class. Silent intro.
Silent intros, and you can even have silent outros. But it's an intro that can be silent, or as long as it's short, it can be vocal. And most of the times it's something like, oh, I just found this new burger place. Something like that. I will say, and this is very hard sometimes to define, but I hate canned intros. Like, hey, let me tell you, because I can tell when I hear that it's just canned. You're not talking to anybody.
Right.
When I get that all the time, but when I get Kathy, we just talked about this, because they, talent knows I can delete it as well. But which, by the way, that's something I do. I don't know if any other agents do that, but I open every single one.
I know you do, because how do I know? Because I started sending these stereo files. That's how it would bounce on my end. If I push bounce, to convert it to an MP3, it automatically comes in stereo.
Yep.
And then I have to do it manually, bounce it on the bottom, not Control B or whatever. I have to actually click, and that'll give you because you said it's too hard to edit when there's 2 different lines of audio, right and left channel.
Yeah. It's just, it's more time for me. And it might seem like only a second or 2 on your end, but when I've got 50 clients that I'm listening to, those seconds add up. So I ask my clients to make it easier for me. But the canned, intros or outros that are not personal. That I can hear it. And that's what I don't like. And in all honesty, when I listen to those auditions, even if I've deleted the canned intro, I just know it's just somebody being VOE.
So if someone in our audience doesn't know, if you've got a script and the script starts out like the McRib is back at McDonald's, if that is your line, your intro will be like, you've got to hear this. That's, you're doing something to kind of bring you into it, or like, David, I know you love ribs, but the McRib is back at,
Yeah.
that is your silent intro. Now, do you, because I always cut mine off. I never include my intro. Would you recommend including them sometimes if it works?
Only if it is short and really don't say a name. But it's something like, dude, the McRib is back. Let's go.
Right.
Or something like that. Short and sweet. I know it's personal. So it can be just a sound.
Right.
Or dude.
Oh,
or buddy.
right.
Or, oh my God.
Right.
Those are the things that I will absolutely leave in. And honestly, improving when you're reading is not, as long as it's not a 5-minute diatribe, a quick improv during still makes it very fun. I had a client,
unless it's Neil Simon. Neil Simon hates when you change anything on his script.
Oh, get over it. Kidding. It's Neil Simon. He's amazing. But
yes,
there was actually a million years ago, I had a client. It was a huge group read when we had a huge booth and I could get 5 people into the booth. So it was one of those. And at the end of the script, he didn't have a line, but he threw in, I must have been adopted. That got him the booking all that time. So you can't tell me they don't listen, but literally it was like a 60-second spot with 5 different people talking. And that line got him the booking.
You are so fascinating. And, the industry certainly is going to change. And you seem to be, dealing with it better than most. And like Darren said, man, be an advocate for the anti-AI stuff and be proud that maybe even include something in your little, when you send an email out on the bottom, it says, we use real voices or something.
Yeah. And I think it's more pro-human than anti-AI.
Yeah. Pro-human. We're pro-human. Right. Well, Darren, I can tell, I keep on seeing him hitting his microphone and like coughing and sneezing. So we should probably let him get back to resting. And you have to rest up too. You got a daughter and a husband that probably want you to be all bright and bubbly on the holiday mornings. So
I don't know about that. They know me.
You're the best, Marci. I'm so glad you were able to come on. And I almost feel like I feel closer to you now having had this conversation and having you on the show. And we look forward to more work together in 2026 together for sure.
Without a doubt. Thank you so much. This was really fun and I enjoyed it. So I really appreciate you having me on.
We'll get ready for my students. I know it's going to be real early in the morning, but I definitely want to have you on in my class at some point. I think the students would really get a kick out of hearing from.
I would love that. And I will definitely make myself pretty for those.
Great. All right.
Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
You
too.
Thanks.
Oh, she was incredible.
Yeah, she really is. I mean, I lucked out, finally, because I've had agents before where, they don't even know who you are. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you're just, yar. I've been living in Indiana for 2 months and I'm already getting the accent.
You're like channeling your pirate.
Arr, channeling my inner pirate.
All right. Do you want to create like a nice little voiceover here, kind of taking in some of the coaching that she gave with like, that sort of textual, wasn't really subtextual, it was that silent intro.
No, I would say like if because I love you to death, Darren. You're one of my best pals, and this year is going to be so amazing on this show because I am working with someone who is as enthusiastic and up for a challenge as I am, and may 2026 be awesome for all of us, and happy holidays, happy new year, and Tom
Go
and D
Indiana.
forever. And
Tom
go
and D
Indiana.
forever. It's
for the
been a
national
great year,
championship.
buddy. We
Yes.
started this, I think our first show aired in May, and I think, we've been, pretty good about, getting one of these out a week. We've had some great guests on.
Sure have. Let's do a best of, Darren. Let's do a best of.
I love
when
that.
you're feeling better, we'll start out 2025 and we'll do a recap of some of our favorite guests. And that would be kind of fun to relive some of those moments.
Love it. And love you, buddy. All right,
love
man.
you too. Till next time.
Till next time.
Later, dude.
Tom and D.
Two middle-aged idiots.
This podcast is produced by 224 Media with voice and audio support by Fry on the Fly Productions.